It has been a historic week for the Australia-UK relations with the announcement of a new free trade agreement yesterday. Joining me is David McCredie, CEO of the Australian-British Chamber of Commerce, and he's got an extra spring in his step today. A massive day.
Absolutely, Tim. Absolutely. A fantastic day. For both countries. This is not a win-win. This is it's not a winners and losers situation. This is all about winners. Great opportunities for Australia. To have it done early for Christmas, Dan Tehan tweeting yesterday before the signing, an early Christmas present for Australian exporters, and importantly, great opportunities for trade, investment, for the mobility of people. There's so much in this. It's a great opportunity. We'll get it ratified early next year, into force sometime early in the second half of next year, and then we'll really be off to the races. Great opportunities.
What does it mean for skills we need here in Australia?
Well, look, what we know is that unemployment, we saw the figures during the week coming down yet again. We need more skilled workers. If we want to have the best infrastructure in the world, if we want to have the best defence force in the world, the best technology sector in the world, we need to have the best talent in the world. Now, some of that clearly is going to be homegrown, but some of that we obviously need to bring in from other parts of the world, the UK being one of those. And now mobility is easier than ever. So if you're under 30, you used to be able to get a working holiday visa. That now moves up to 35. For professionals, basically across all sectors, you're able to much more easily get visas. There are provisions. One of the challenges, if I wanted to move to the UK, for example, bringing my wife and kids and having them be able to work whilst in the UK, those sorts of things. Those things are much easier. So bringing that this way, we're now offering partner visas and for kids, and it's for 4 years, not just 2 years. And those are enshrined in the FTA, so they can't be taken away again at the whim of a government on a day, as we've seen happen in the past with the 457 visas and the skills list in the past changing. Those things are now enshrined.
What is your message to those industries that may be concerned about elements of the FTA?
Well, let me know what they are, because I think we've got just about everything that we asked for. All the major sticking points that we're traditionally worry about in terms of agriculture, even compared to the AIP. The beef and lamb quotas are there. It's now over a 10-year period. I think it was 15 years originally in the AIP, so that actually comes in quicker for full liberalisation. There really isn't anything that we've found yet that isn't a positive win for both countries. So it's really let's get on with the ratification process as quickly as possible and get this into force, because it's a really good deal for both of us. Great opportunities. I've spent the last few days in Adelaide with Lord Botham and looking at Lot 14 and talking about the tech and space sectors, talking about the defence sectors in Australia. We need more high-quality, high-skilled people to come and do those roles and help us to establish our space industry, which is still really nascent, and to our tech industry. So it's great opportunities left, right and centre. I can't see anything at all, to be honest, that I'm not absolutely excited about.
Domestically in the United Kingdom, they have their own COVID challenge again. Of course, numbers are soaring there. But Boris Johnson himself, a by-election loss in Shropshire, and that's a seat that they've held for 200 years.
Yeah, that's right, Tim. Look, it's a very awkward time for Boris Johnson just at the moment, and I'm sure that this news of the FTA will be very warming to him in a tricky time for him in domestic politics. He obviously had the challenges earlier in the week where he needed the Labor Party's support. Despite his stonking 80-seat majority in the House of Commons, he wasn't able to convince enough of his fellow Tories to vote for the restrictions to be improved. I think that flows over into the Shropshire by-election. I think there's some particular local issues in that particular instance as well. It's a difficult time, and going into another Christmas, we all remember what happened last Christmas, where there was a lockdown at the last minute, and the Grinch that stole Christmas was the sort of phrase around it. But I think he's trying desperately hard to try and keep it open through the Christmas period, and there may need to be a lockdown in January or thereabouts. But I think the interesting thing is, the rhetoric from the Chief Health Officer, Chris Whitty, but also from Boris Johnson, while it's been quite sort of negative and we're worried, we're concerned, I think a lot of that's due to having previously not handled the outbreak initially last March that well. I think a lot of where they're at the moment is just being super cautious and making sure they don't push to open up too much or go the other way, if you like, as they have previously, and then need a really long lockdown. I think they're not quite sure still where Omicron sits for them, whether it's going to impact the hospital system as much as what it might, and they're still waiting on that data. So, fingers crossed, a bit of good luck for Christmas. Omicron is what we think it is. There won't be as many hospitalisations, there won't be as many deaths, and therefore, the UK probably won't go into a harder lockdown if that turns out to be the case.
And just finally, to compare the situations, when we hear the New South Wales Premier Dominic Perrottet talk about New South Wales leading the nation and Scott Morrison saying that we've passed 90%, these are things that we need to take as badges of honour, don't we, here in Australia? Because I know it has been better than okay in the United Kingdom, but still the numbers here when it comes to vaccination are extremely high in comparison.
Look, the complicity of the Australian public to actually come on board and get their vaccines, and I'm booked to get my booster jab next Wednesday. Look, the fact that we are doing these things is making a difference for us. There is no doubt. Looking around, even in the states, like South Australia, where I've been this week, there is a real hum starting to build again in our economy, and we need to keep that going and keep that leaning forward, so that we are ready to take on, to build ourselves back better and more resilient in the future after the pandemic sort of eases away. But it's vital that we all get vaccinated, or as many of us as possible do, and that we go and get our booster jabs too. And that's what's going to help us stay strong. And as you say, New South Wales in terms of leading out. I'm not a health expert, and I'm not going to talk about Dominic's particular views on wearing masks or not. But look, I think we're in a really strong position. States like South Australia are opening up more and more. We'll be in a better position in the early new year, even further, and even when WA comes back in February to the fold, and we're able to travel there, and then engaging with the rest of the world again. It's all there for us in 2022. It's going to be a fantastic year ahead. And the FTA is going to really put the icing on the cake. Yeah,
good news. Hopefully, WA in February. We will hold out hope on that front. But yeah, the booster shot, look, all the best with that. It's the easiest thing. I got it done yesterday just at the pharmacy, the Moderna shot. It is so simple. So if you're 5 months, just duck down to your pharmacy, make an appointment, and away you go. David McCredie, always good to chat. Have a good Christmas.
Thanks, Tim. You too. And thank you, everyone who's supported the Chamber this year. It's been terrific to have your support. We look forward to talking to you all again soon.